Right, folks. So today we're going to talk about designing styles and how that affects running ads, specifically for your go-to-market. Um, when we're thinking about going to market, and basically what I'm saying here is, what are we trying to do when we're actually trying to grow the business? And most of the time, I'm gonna talk about two different types of companies today. One is the blue collar trades business, and the other is the white collar, like service focused businesses like lawyers or investment advisors. Um, but you'll notice that both of these groups, they actually typically have really bad branding. Now, there are some exceptions, especially as you get more and more into like the really successful companies. Things will stand out, right? Um, a lot of the custom home builders have really beautiful websites. Like they went really heavy on making those websites nice. There's some lawyers like Morgan and Morgan has gone heavy on branding. But for the most part, these companies have not done a good job of standing out, and that's totally fine. But when I'm thinking about running a business's growth strategy, it all really parlays itself from the brand. So you can kind of see here, this is a typical go-to-market strategy that we're going to run. Okay, so you have the brand here, you have the statics, you have the landing page, and then you have the call to action. And all of these flow down to each other, right? So you have the statics. So someone sees your ad, they really like your ad, they go to your landing page, they really like your landing page, or at least it fits what they're looking for at that time. It converts well. There's a call to action, book a call, book a meeting, come on site in person, and then you service them. They get some kind of detail here, which is like a review form or something like that, and then that's a sale. Okay, and this all is branding. Okay, now one of the reasons why I think brand is misappreciated by a lot of these companies is it's it's intrinsically difficult to be good at a skill set that is completely different than being skilled at designing something. Design is a very much aesthetic focused. It's kind of a left brain thing. Whereas if you're just like the best power washer that you know, like you're probably more right brained. You're much less of a designer by trade. Um, so we're going to talk about, but the reason why I say all of this and why I think it's important to have branding, and why I think branding is really the core foundation of when I'm running a go to market strategy is, here's some of, not all of, but some of the go to market strategies that you can run. Send backwards. Oops. Let's do this. So these are just some, but pretty solid reasons to have branding. Is all, if you look at the brand, all of this parlays into higher conversion rates. If you have higher conversion rates, you're going to spend less per lead and you're going to convert at a higher rate. So you're going to ultimately beat your competition just by having one well designed brand. So if you kind of think about it like a triangle, a pyramid, right? So you have, here's the foundation, which is the branding. Then they're seeing your ads. They resonate with your ads. Then they resonate uh, for other reasons by your landing page. Again, more people are going to come and see your ad and be impressed. They're going to also pay more with higher branding. Branding is a premium play. So a lot of times I'm talking to clients and they're like, oh, well, we're just running like Google ads, and our competitors are beating us. I'm like, okay, well, brand is not up to par. And also, Google Ads, anyone can run that playbook. You're just literally competing on price, and you're competing on location. So you're constantly battling that up and down on your bidding. Whereas with meta ads, you can win on brand. With LinkedIn, you can win on brand. With flyers and postcards and custom wraps that you're gonna show for your business if you're a blue collar business. So all of this stuff is why brand is so powerful. And I think if you went 5 years ago or even 2 years ago, brand would have been very expensive. It would have been a $15,000 to $25,000 package. Maybe it would have been $10,000. But today, I'm going to show you kind of how to build out a brand correctly, and it's going to be incredibly cheap. So let's do two types of businesses. We're going to pick power washers, and we're going to do let's do law firms because I think both of these are unique and a lot of them don't have good websites. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about design styles. So kind of surprising, but there are design styles. There's there's only about 25 to 30 well understood and articulated design styles. And those are from everything from like minimalist and modern all the way to like more funky stuff like retro vintage. You can have industrial, which is kind of like a brutalist style. You can have more creative if you're, trying to do that. And if you're ever, if you're a corporate business, like the law firm might be 19 or 20. So there's only so many different styles that you can actually build off of, and you don't have to be fancy. Like you'll notice corporate, like this is just built from ChatGPT, but already it's like that's better than a lot of other businesses. So this is pretty critical to just take a look at, and then you're gonna see. So this is kind of my branding strategy that I would tell clients, right? So branding strategy. So we're going to do this for a power washing company. Now, okay, so let's just say we're going to make a company. So let's find competitors with good branding. I'm going to do already some of this. In my opinion, this company, Pinks, does the best job of branding in the space. Um, you know, if you take a look at power washing companies in your area, typically what I try to do when I think about brand, by the way, this is actually an important point. When you think about brand, you want to think who's the person that's known for this in this area or in this industry. So, one of the reasons why I say that is if you think about soda, oh, who's known for soda in this world? Coca-Cola and Pepsi. That's it. No, there's no debate on any other people taking that spot. Who's known for cell phones? Apple and Android, Google. That's it. That's the brand. Those two things have been decided. Okay. Who in your area is known for window washing and power washing? Do you know? Like, is there someone that immediately comes to mind? If the answer is no, then you have an opportunity. If the answer is yes, try to pivot, do something totally different, go down a niche, go to a slightly subsegment of an industry. This is why you see so many companies in spaces like Morgan and Morgan, and all they want to do. This is why you see companies like Morgan and Morgan, and they just dominate for this area. People just know them. People know Morgan and Morgan for personal injury, and the beautiful thing about this is like they've done an amazing job, but they've only done an amazing job because they've been putting John Morgan, the CEO's face on everything. And so now, if you get injured, someone says, oh, "Who do you call?" I have no idea. I mean, wherever. Oh, just call Morgan and Morgan. And so they're doing billions of dollars a year now just for that one thing. Chances are there is no well-known company in your space. Like it's very very unlikely. Doctors are a good example. Like there is no like known number one doctor in an area at any given point in time. So again, that's kind of the first thing. Um, the thing that I really like about Pinks, so whenever we're thinking about a trades business, you wanna extract more money. You want to have a higher premium. And all of these things, especially when we're thinking about trades businesses, are typically to get a premium, you have to have all four of these things, right? Quick and easy quotes. They're insured. That's a huge thing. I've run panels with thousands and thousands of people in all different types of industries, and one of the things that we always find is like they don't want to go the cheap route. And obviously, there are some people that are going to go the cheap route, but most people don't want to go to the cheap route because they don't want to get sued if something happens. So they're insured. That's a huge thing that we're gonna focus on that people care about. They're reliable. How many times have you said, "Oh, I called the handyman and he didn't come at 2 p.m. and I had to wait the whole day, and then finally he came at 7 p.m. and it totally screwed up this, and we had to take the kids to soccer practice later and messed up the whole day." Um, that is something that you see constantly. And so again, this branding really does a fantastic job of removing that. And then the last thing is the respecting of the property. I mean, I think this goes without saying, but when you're hiring someone to come into your home or to do work on you, like a lawyer, it doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, a plumber, a doctor, like all of those people are so critical to your day. They're so important. If they make a mistake, that's going to cost you. That's going to cost you in a lawsuit. That's going to cost you in, uh, your floors being destroyed. It's going to cost you in whatever you might think. It's a pretty big deal. So again, having high quality branding, it does parlay itself into higher sales, higher prices, and you're most likely going to get more reviews. So it's one of those things that people just constantly forget. Okay, let's go here. So they have a lot of content. So again, their website does a really good job of showing all those things. But I think what I like most about them is they're really clean, and they have this old school retro vibe. So if you remember in the design styles, number 9 is the retro vintage. There's something about retro and vintage that just blends itself. If you see on the bottom here, it says nostalgia, timeless, warm, familiar. All of these things are important for a window cleaning service. Whereas, let's just say masculine here, it doesn't really matter. Like, no one is like, oh, I really want my window cleaning service to be strong, bold, rugged, assertive. No, like that doesn't matter. You could see an angle where you do like a 23, sustainable, earthy, ethical. That could be an angle, right? But you don't care that like they're elegant or they're artistic. No, like that's not what you want. So you want to make sure that when your customers are thinking of you, they have a specific few adjectives to describe you as. If those adjectives are, going to match the branding, then fantastic. If not, try something else. Okay, so that's kind of the first step. Now, I want to just show you a few examples of window cleaning services in my area because these are the top 5 window cleaning services. Does this seem like a business? Now, if you're deciding, and by the way, these guys are highly ranked. They have really good SEO scores. They have a lot of reviews. I think they were number 2 in the area, um, in all of Boston, which is a large area. But would you choose Pinks or would you choose this? Even if Pinks was an extra 10%, I would choose Pinks. Even if they were an extra, I don't know, 20, 25%, I would probably choose that. And again, it's not just a decision for myself; it's a decision for my partner, or my wife, or my this, or like. There's a lot of people and stakeholders in this decision. If you have kids, you want to make sure like they're going to use the right chemicals. Do I think that these guys know how to wash windows? I'm sure, but is this going to immediately sell me? If I started running meta ads, it would not go well with this either. So that's one. Here's another one. So nothing wrong about this, but is this going to wow you on branding? No. So this one, I would say this is probably the best of the bunch. However, I would like to see a little bit more from them. I mean, obviously they do a good job here, but you'll kind of see when we start getting into this what I think would be the best. And I think some of the stuff, having your projects here is good. One thing I would say is their reviews. You know, 2021, 2022, 2024, 2024. And they're all the same. So this is the same person here and here. So just it's like small basic stuff. But again, if you're seeing this for the first time versus you're coming here, just nine times out of 10, people are going to choose this. Um, and that matters. Okay. And then let's go to this one. So these are the top 4 of 5. Again, this one, I'm not impressed by it. I don't think it's world class. I think this could actually, I mean, this is the owner of it. You can see him with a bow tie. Like, he actually has the nostalgia strategy sorted out, but the brand isn't there. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a reality that most people have. Okay, and these guys are the closest thing to a semi decent branding. However, their website, you can see on the left hand side they have a logo. If you go on the bottom here, they actually have a decent like wrap on their truck. And I tend to think wrapping your truck is one of the best decisions for a blue collar business. However, the website is just terrible. Look at this. Who is this woman? How does this woman help us? Like, is she selling us anything? You know, why do we have this? Another key piece of this, whenever we're looking at branding, is take a look as how it would look on mobile. Mobile's not terrible, but it's not amazing. It's a lot of text. People are not going to read text. People will need to see this and be wowed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this overall and we're going to say, okay, this is probably the best we can do. And we're going to throw this into ChatGPT. So so we're deciding we're going to go with this company. And I just had it. All I do to ChatGPT is I ask it a question like, can you take this Sparkle Squad and turn this into a brand book? So if we go back to the Excalibur, so we have company, so Sparkle Squad. Oops. We have pinks. If you're unsure of, I mean, most people who have businesses are like, oh, I know these guys, they have the best branding in our area or whatever. But I really like Pinks is a franchising company. They clearly have put a lot of effort into it. I would take a look at franchises, large companies. I would take a look at all different styles and almost just test all this stuff out with ChatGPT image tool. So we found Pinks. Okay, and we want to go with retro style because that seems to be what Pinks is doing, and they're doing a good job with it. And it lends well. We can change it if we want. Okay, so now we're going to create a brand book. So here you go. Here's the brand book. I'm not 100% sure this is perfect. I made some changes. I told them like we don't want it to be pink. We want it to be red. Um, like the colors that they've selected, you'll find are always fine. You can do a lot of work with those colors. Um, but it's almost like taking the colors and making them perfect and making them into a story. And you want to tell that story. Okay. And then, yeah, so we've created this. And now this is what we do is we create the landing page. So all I'm doing here is asking ChatGPT, can you take this brand book? Can you take this picture from this company? And can you turn it into a landing page? And here you'll see it did an amazing job. I am of the belief that this could be improved. However, I don't think it can be that much improved. And you can already tell if I saw this, if I'm looking here, I don't know if I would choose this over Pinks. I don't know if I would choose Pinks over this. Like, it really depends. I like this. I think it does a really good job. It has the satisfaction guaranteed. It's got the retro, but it's kind of new school. It has the before and the after pick. I would say so. The logo itself, it kind of made a mistake on it. It like went a little too funky on that. Um, this is where I would recommend, actually hiring a designer for some of this stuff. Um, you could do it for a few $100s. I think the best guys on Fiverr, maybe $100, $200. You can definitely find good people for a decent, affordable price. And just let them kind of take what you've done. So you say to them, "Hey, we've got 80% of the way done here, but can you really make this perfect for us?" And that's going to drastically improve your value long term. And then the last thing I would say is, from here, now you have a really good strategy. Now, all you have to do is put this into a Claude or some kind of website developer, and it should be able to take all of this and just create it. And if we actually um, did do this, it might take us a couple hours, but you're going to have a much cleaner website to then start to run ads on. Okay. Now, here's the beautiful thing. You can go from here and immediately have some ads. So here you can see, here's one ad. This is something we could run on Meta directly. Okay. Here's another one. This is just kind of a zoomed in ad that we were kind of thinking of. And then here you can see 5 other ads that we have. Again, should you throw these into Canva and make some improvements on them? Yes. Are these the best ads that you've ever seen in your life? No. But and we can kind of go into the power washing, competitors in this space, and really, there's not many that are good. So what I always recommend people is just throw these into ChatGPT, get 80% or 90% of the way there. The real effort is after that 90th percentile, getting it from good to fantastic. But most of your competitors they don't even have anything near as good as this. All I would say is just remove a lot of the AI slop in all of this, because when you're running ads, you want to feel authentic, you want to feel legit. And if you've put all of your effort into making an amazing branding campaign and spent days and really, really focusing on this, um, it's going to fall on deaf ears if you can't actually put some decent statics together. And so yeah, so this is where we go here. So we have the brand that we've now built. We have the statics, and we have the landing page. And now all you need to do is just start running campaigns and ads to this. I would dedicate, $3,000 to $5,000 to test out on different strategies. I also recommend looking at this across different pain points. So there's a number of ways to look at statics. You have different reasons for a lot of these, but you have stages of awareness is probably the most important. Think about people who are unaware, problem aware, and we're going to talk about this probably on the next video. But think about who your customers are that are going to see this. If they're interested in buying, then we want to hit them with different angles based off of their stages of unawareness. But again, we're going to talk about that later. But really, for the next video, that's going to be on that. This video is all about building the brand as the foundation of your success. So if you like this video, give me a like, subscribe. Would really appreciate it. And if you want any help, just reach out at the information below, and we'll get started.